It's great to know that you're still tuned to Breakfast Weekend on Impact Africa Television, IATV. And our very last segment this morning is something that a lot of people think about, a lot of people talk about, but most don't do much about. Many students, especially in the secondary schools, have had to bury their dreams, mainly because, their dreams of being in the sciences. You want to become a doctor, you want to become an engineer, you want to become so many different things. But when it comes down to it, many people have had to bury their dreams because there are no funds, because there are no motivators, and there is no motivation for them. We have a guest in the studio this morning who is making efforts to bridge this gap, to meet this need. And we'll be talking to her extensively, on how science students basically can be encouraged, on how science students or science subject taking students can be encouraged to keep the dream and the hope alive. And doing that with us, we have Funmi Sodipo. She's the director of Celis Life Initiative. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you.
It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you very much.
So you have an initiative that basically caters to organizing different things, seminars, workshops, quiz competitions, and scholarship aids for students who take biology in secondary school. What necessitated that idea or dream for you?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be on to this program.
Welcome.
To be given this opportunity to speak about what I do. For me, this idea came to me long ago, because while I was at the university, I used to help my colleagues and some junior colleagues. I organized tutorials for them because I see how people struggle with this bulky subject. And even back in secondary school, many of my colleagues didn't like biology because they would always say that it's too cumbersome, it's too bulky, the technologies are not, are not friendly and all of that. And then when I also went to serve in Warri, I was posted to a secondary school where I taught biology, and I discovered the same thing. They liked me personally. Miss Funmi, you're welcome to class. But then when it's time to actually delve into what we had for that day, you just find most of them grumbling. They don't exactly enjoy it. And I also noticed that when I got to the school, I went into the biology lab and I saw many experimental equipments locked away in rotten cartons. They were not being used. And these students didn't know they were okay because firstly they don't even like the subject. So then the school was not even helping them enough. They had all of this equipment. Government had, because it was in government school. And government had provided all of these things, but they were not being used, they were just there. And I also saw that these students, they didn't care because they didn't like it. And then their teachers had also given up on them. And coming from a background, because I went to a very good secondary school and they took everything seriously in my secondary school. Coming from a background where your teacher, they know your strengths, they know that, okay, Sodipo is good in mathematics, so they always take me out. But then I had personal interest in biology because I found it really interesting. Everything biology teaches has to do with you, has to do with your environment. Even if you're studying hair, you breathe hair, you use hair. Everything biology studies, has to do with you. And then, back then, we science students were like very proud. We're like the VIPs in school. But you don't find that anymore. Even students, they are not even motivated to become science students. You see that most of them are going to commercial classes, they are going into art classes and all of that. And recently, my younger sister is still in secondary school. So she came home, I was going through a report card, I didn't see biology science. I said, where's your biology results? She said, they are no longer taking biology. It's not compulsory for science students and then optional for
other people.
I was not happy about that. I wish I could just write to the federal government about that. I thought she was lying. So I called our school and they confirmed it. I called another school, my school, and my teacher then confirmed that it's true, biology is just for science students. And I was heartbroken because it's like intentionally putting people in the dark. I mean, we learned many things in biology, pollution, reproduction, respiration, all these topics are very important. So that was what sparked the interest, that idea that, okay, let me bring this thing to students in an interesting way. Because I used to be very excited to go for competition, so that was where it came from. Okay, let's bring it to them in an interesting way. People want to do art. When you're coming for quiz, it's interactive, it's not just classroom work.
Because we don't have much time, now you just, in your own way, do all these things on the side. You're not their teacher in school. So how is it really affecting them in ways that matter? You are coming to question them, and we're talking about a situation where equipment, biology lab equipment are being locked away, so they're not getting full access to the things they need to actually even be able to answer your questions in the first place. What more can be done in the education sector to take full advantage, all round?
Well, for our initiative, we also have another thing that we do, but we're going to do another one very soon, is organizing experimental procedures in some of these government schools, because you find that problem is usually in government schools where the class is large, so they don't even want them to come into the lab or something. So we're going to do that. And then how to also curb this is, if more people do, for example, what I do, you go to these schools, because competition does something. It helps you to prepare personally. When you're nominated to go out for a competition, you read beyond the scope of what you're taught in classroom. You go further. So that's what we wanted to do. That okay, if we bring competition to them, they will go extra mile. And then if we also start organizing this experiments, in government schools, because private schools, well, they're trying in that aspect. If we organize this experiment in government schools, can also really help the student, because what you see doesn't depart from you as fast as what you just hear. When you do experiments, for example, while I was in secondary school, I didn't really like chemistry because our experiments were just once in a while. But when I got to the university, it was quite interesting because there was always one experiment and another, and it helped my interest in it.
Okay, now looking at, you've done this for how long now? How long have you been doing this?
Just a year ago.
Now, between then and now, how would you measure the level of progress you've made in impacting this, knowledge to these children and motivating them to go all out to embrace the sciences?
Okay. Well, it has been very successful, I must say, because the first edition just had 12 schools.
Okay.
But then when we did the second edition, we had 43 schools. We actually invited 70. We invited 70 schools, but the Ministry of Education didn't give us the approval on time, so some of the schools didn't come.
Okay.
So all of these schools, they know us, they know what we do, and they've been calling to know when next we're going to do it. And then we've also encouraged their biology teachers to start organizing intra-school competitions. That they don't just have to come out before they do all this thing. They can do it
right there in the
school. And I know Command Day School is going to do that very soon. All these schools, they've been calling to say, when are you going to come? That means that
they're seeing what you're doing.
They're seeing it, and there's a consciousness being built.
Now, how does that make you feel as a person?
Very happy, very happy, very fulfilled. Yes.
Well, we really need to go. Time is very, very against us at the moment. We've been speaking though with the director of Celis Life Initiative in person of Funmi Shodipo. Thank you so much once again for being a part of the show, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And that all this labor of love of yours will be handsomely rewarded by God. This is where we'll call it a wrap this morning on Breakfast Weekend. Kenny, it's been a very interesting day.
Yeah, what the show is been.
For me, the highlight is security online. Turn off your location.
It's actually very
because I think I've always felt it's cool to turn your location on so that everybody knows where you are.
No, for
right now I'm in VGC.
And it's because of people. Like that. They had to do something about it. You'll be in Bere, you'll be saying but was really a good one. Was an eye opener because a lot of people use these social media platforms, but we don't really know how to find a way around it, especially as it concerns security. And that was really a very insightful one for everybody. We need to be careful so that we'll not just fall victim of these bad eggs.
Well, from me, thank you for being a part of the program. I am Ayoduro Jai. Bye-bye.
Of course, my name is Kenny Orire. See you again next week. Be good.